whisper. There's a lot going on behind me because I am in the throes of finals, so my permat is a mess. I also am in a different spot than normal because it's very warm today. It's like, I think it's like 90 degrees. I'm filming this on May 10th, and so I'm sitting in front of a window because it's a little bit toasty in my bedroom. So I'm filming this out in my living space, and I've got my microphone and the phone is up on the windowsill. So there's going to be lots of sounds. I live right in the middle of downtown, so hopefully it's not too loud. But yeah, so this is going to be a wrap up what I read in April. And before we start that, I'm going to be drinking this before. It is a by 450 North Brewing Company. It's called Slushy Meal. And it's a smoothie style sour ale with peach, mango, guava, papaya, apple, and lactose. And in case you are new or whatever, I am of drinking age. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Normally I don't like beer, but I feel like I'm hoping this is gonna be pink or red. I don't know. I figured I would try it. Okay. It smells good. Beer. I don't know if I'm gonna drink very much of this. I don't know if I like it. Moving on. Okay. So, sorry. Just keeping it real right now. My partner's a mess. I just got home from work. I changed. I did not wear a t-shirt to work. But anyways, so some stats. I've got my book journal here. Okay, in April I read 8 books. My average rating was 3.08, which is okay. I read two thriller/horror. I kind of just lumped those together. 1 surrealism. I don't really know. I just made that up. I don't know if that's what this book would be. 2 contemporary.
So you have to it guarantees you are married. So you are not having to. I guess I'll do that.
2 fantasy, and 1 graphic novel, and in total I read 3,680 pages. So, the first book I read in April is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of this, if not read it yourself. And finally read it. This bad boy is almost 600 pages. Don't be fooled, because I was not expecting it to be, I don't know, it just looked a lot smaller to me than that. Anyways, I love this cover, by the way. So this is very much like the blueprint of dark academia, which I don't read a ton of, but, and this basically is a group of kids that go to a private college and they study the Greeks. it seems like literally all they're doing is studying like Greek and like the ancient Greeks. Like I don't know what that kind of college program is, but love that for them. It's like it's considered the classics, but you know, it takes place in New England. It's like a super private, competitive college. And we know in the very beginning that one of the group of college pals is dead. We find that out in the beginning, and then it's basically like the majority, like the first part of the book is everything taking place up until that point, and then the second part of the book is the aftermath and, you know, sort of like figuring out who did it and like what leads up to it. But it's less about the murder and more just about the relationship between these people. It's very much like, it was just kind of crazy. There's lots of just like drugs and debauchery and like rich people problems, and I did like it. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't anything, it's really hyped up, and so I guess I was expecting a lot more. Not to say that there was anything wrong with it, it just wasn't my favorite. I did like it, and I would read more Donna Tartt. But yeah, this was like fine. The ending did shock me though. So, and I read a lot of thriller-y type books. So, it's not super often that I'm completely surprised and thrown by an ending, but this definitely did do that for me. I would say that the beginning was really good, the end was really good, and the middle kind of really stretched out for me, and that's why I only gave 3 stars. But looking back, because I finished this book on April 1st, so I mostly read it in March, and looking back, I feel like I liked it more than 3 stars, so maybe more like 3.5, but that's The Secret History. Next, I read Severance. Severance by Ling Ma. This is it's like a surreal, apocalyptic kind of thing. This was written multiple years before COVID, but it's essentially about a pandemic that takes over and like wipes everybody out. And we follow the main protagonist, whose name is what's her name? Okay, what the hell? Okay, well anyways, I don't know her name. We follow her nameless. We follow our protagonist, who lives in New York City. I would guess she's like in her 30s or late 20s. And it basically just chronicles, you know, it kind of jumps around a little bit as far as timeline and like her recounting memories, and it basically takes place, it's partially during like the timeline is like partially when everything started to like go dark, when New York City started to empty out and like be largely affected by the pandemic. And then the other part of it follows her basically in this group that have like banded together and traveled together during the pandemic, and it has a hierarchy that's kind of like cult-ish like, and it just chronicles her journey through that. And I loved this. In one of my more recent wrap-ups, I talked about Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, or I think it's just Emily St. Mandel. Where did the John come from? I'm just making stuff up. Anyways, I reviewed that, which is also like an apocalyptic. We follow mostly a main character. It's a dual timeline, kind of similar, but I liked this even better. I I loved this so much. The main character just really pulls on your heartstrings. She's also first generation American, so we get a little bit of that story about how she grew up, and I really related to her. I really felt like I was inside of her head. This really pulled me in. I wasn't the hugest fan of the ending, so I did get this 4.5 stars. I don't ever do half stars. This is my first happy, but the last like 50 pages kept it from being perfect for me. But overall, I really recommend this. It's not like too hard to read or too triggering in light of COVID. At least it wasn't for me. So I definitely recommend it. But Severance, so good. Okay, next, I don't have it on me, but you already know. It's Harry Potter. Ron Weasley. Do you guys know the Potter Pals? Snape, Severus Snape, Dumbledore. If you know, you know. Anyways, I read Half-Blood Prince. I don't have it on me because I borrowed it from the library and I've already returned it. But this just reaffirmed what I already always knew. Half-Blood Prince has always been my favorite, and it remains my favorite. It's just so good. I'm not going to go in depth. I am planning to do an entire Harry Potter video where I talk about the books and the movies, do all of the rankings. I'm going to do like a full in-depth Harry Potter extravaganza at some point this summer. I just haven't gotten to it yet because I've been so busy, but I just loved it. It's fantastic. It's just the best one. It's just the best one, period. Next, I read Daisy Jones. Daisy Jones and the Six. Daisy Jones by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, one that everybody and their freaking brother has heard of and is aware of. Earlier in the year, I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I liked that one. I didn't love it, but I liked it. This, I did not like. I don't really get why everybody's like obsessive over it. It follows a fictional rock band in the 70s, and it just sort of chronicles their relationships together, and their career and stuff, and it's all like in interview form, which I thought was like such a cop-out way to tell the story. We missed out on so much atmosphere and like the 70s atmospheric goodness that I would have loved to see. And I don't know, I don't think entire novels that are interview style. It just feels lazy to me because you don't have to do any of the you don't have to do anything about the environment or like descriptions. It's just very like, it was so much dialogue. I didn't connect to any of the characters. I didn't really like them that much. I mean, I did really want to know what happened, so I read it pretty quickly, and I did give it 2 stars instead of 1 because of that, because it was such a quick read. But I just didn't like it. I don't get why people like it. I feel like it was missing so much for me. It felt like it read like a movie script, but like if you just read a movie script, you don't get any of the atmosphere. So I think they're making this into a movie or a show. I would watch the movie or the show because I thought that the story was cool. I mean, if you're familiar with Fleetwood Mac, it's kind of like a similar story. I'm guessing it was inspired by that. And it just didn't do anything revolutionary for me. So 2 stars. Not my favorite, but also don't hate me for that. Next, I read Where the Crawdads Sing, Delia Owens. I'm knocking out a lot of popular books, clearly, that I have been like way too late in reading, and I feel like I missed the hype on all of this stuff. But Where the Crawdads Sing, I read this on vacation, and it was so beautiful. This is the exact opposite of Daisy Jones because it's like so atmospheric. love books that take place in the South. It's just something about the atmosphere of the South that I love and feels so cozy to me. I've never lived there or really even been there, so I don't really know where that comes from, but I just love it. In this book, we follow Kaya, who basically lives in this, like, marsh in North Carolina, and she lives there, like, alone. She doesn't really have, like, family. She's just this, like, living on her own, living off the land, in this marsh, and it just chronicles her growing up, while simultaneously doing a dual timeline with a murder that has taken place in the town. Somebody's dead. We don't know at first who it is. We don't know who killed them or what. We don't know the story. But it follows the murder trial, while also following Kaya growing up. There is some beautiful, like, casual romance. I don't like romance books. I find them really cringy. But this is, like, background romance. It's not the main plot, so I like a little subplot romance. And I particularly just loved. I really liked this book. I gave it 4 stars. I definitely think that this will be a future reread for me because I feel like there's so much that I missed that I would love to reread it. And give it really my full attention. But this story was just so beautifully written. And it was definitely a little bit slow. It was definitely not something you want to read if you're looking for something fast-paced, if you're looking for something that'll really be a page-turner. But it's just beautiful, and if you start to read this and you get bored in the middle, stick with it, because it does not disappoint. Next. Oh god. I read Bubble. Here's the deal. This is a graphic novel. I've never read a graphic novel. I've never read a graphic novel. I did read Death Note as a kid, which is manga, so it's not really the same. But I haven't read anything like that since, any manga or graphic novel. It's just not my thing. But I try to read a little bit of every genre. I try not to be exclusory with my genres. I know I just said that I don't like romance, but you'll even catch me reading romance every once in a while. I like to try things out and get out of my comfort zone. But I hated this. I hated every second of it. The art was cool. Storyline, lame. Dialogue, cringy, unrealistic. I hated this. Has anybody else read this? This is a me thing? Is this because I don't like graphic novels, or is this just not good? If you've read a graphic novel that you love, please comment it down below, because I would love to try another graphic novel. I'm definitely going to go to the library and not buy it, because I just hated this. First of all, here's the art. Wow. I didn't realize that this was like zombie apocalypse, that it's not zombies, it's like these weird monsters. I don't know. There was like not enough world building or development. It was like, I think maybe I just don't like graphic novels. I just need more depth, and this was not depth. But if you have any recommendations for graphic novels that have more story and plot and are a little bit more deep, I guess, a little bit more, like a little bit closer to an actual novel, let me know. But I detested this. Pretty covered up. 1 star. Hated it. Okay. Two more. Okay, next I read On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Flung. I love this cover with like 2 people like hugging. It's so beautiful. Okay. did not think I was gonna like this. So I mean, like, at like 50 pages in, I almost DNF'd this. This is something else that's a little bit outside my comfort zone, and it's little like bursts of stories. It's like a bunch of like little vignettes. It reads more like prose. It's really, really beautiful, like beautifully written. The language is stunning. It is transcendent. You really feel like you're in the writer's brain. This basically functions as an open letter to his mother. He is a first-generation immigrant, and his mother does not speak English, but he does. So it's basically him like writing her this letter that she probably won't read. But he definitely had a toxic relationship with his mom. I'm gonna put a finger down if you can really eat. He definitely endured some abuse, so I would say trigger warning here. I still hate this. Anyways, God, I hate that. I'm just a hater. And again, I'm more like a story, like a traditional novel, but I'm really glad I stuck this out. It ended up really taking on the form of a story. This book made me feel every emotion, and I just really felt for the character. I wanted to give him a hug, although I want to say I feel like this is more autobiographical. I think this is actually about Ocean Vuong's life, but I'm not positive on that. I also keep saying the character, but I think it actually might be him. I really liked this. I'm really glad I didn't give up on it. It's definitely out of my comfort zone again, but it just ended up being such a beautiful, heartbreaking story, you know, about family and, you know, what it takes to make it, and this concept of the American dream that is ever changing. And there is some great queer representation, which was really lovely, and it just was so beautiful. I gave this 4 stars. I just had a hard time really getting into it, but I'm really glad I stuck it out. So I definitely recommend On Earth or Briefly Gorgeous. And the final book that I read in April, which just, what a perfect way to end the video. It's Deathly Hallows. Harry Potter. I was so sad when I finished this because I just wanted to keep reading Harry Potter forever. And I might just reread them every year like I used to when I was a kid. But here's the deal. I have a lot of gripes with books that I never had or never noticed as a kid. I think that the epilogue, we should have just Avada Kedavra that. There was no reason to have that epilogue. We could have just ended at the end and not had a 19 years later garbage. We didn't need that. I also literally just continue to stand by the fact that there's absolutely no reason why Harry and Hermione did not end up together. That's my hot take. And another hot take, well, you guys know that I am a Hermione fanfic gal, but realistically, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's just like a girl can dream, you know? Draco doesn't make sense, but Ron doesn't make sense either. Hermione and Harry. I'm mad. Anyways, I was such a Ron Weasley stan when I was a kid, and then I grew up, okay? And then I grew up, and he's just not the one. But anyways, really silly. I'll talk a lot more about this when I do a dedicated Harry Potter video, which I promise will be coming this summer. So anyways, that is everything that I read in April. I know I'm a little late. I'm filming on, like I said, I'm filming this on May 10th. It probably won't be up until May 12th. I don't know, videos take forever to upload on my computer, so who knows, but sorry I'm a little late. My number one goal this summer is to upload consistently, weekly, because I've really fallen out of that. It's really, really hard while I'm in school to do that, but I really want to just incorporate it into my routine, schedule it in my planner. I want to be better and more intentional because I love posting videos. I love reading comments. Please leave me comments. I love reading them. And I just want to be more active in the ASMR and YouTube space. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you read in April or what you're currently reading, or if you've read any of these books, give me your thoughts on them. Let me know what you want to see from me next. And I hope you guys are staying happy, healthy, and safe. Thank you again so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful